Ever since the Guardians of the Galaxy movie released in 2014, the team has become a phenomenon. Prior to the movies, I had no knowledge or background of the Guardians. They went from D-list Marvel characters to some of the top-tier MCU movies. So when something becomes this big, video game tie-ins are almost certain to happen. Although we don't see it as much as we did in the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox generation, it was still likely. And what's a developer that will pick up almost any existing franchise? Telltale Games. If you've been around my channel for a while now, you know that I have a big love for some of the games that they've developed. I mean, Season 1 of their Walking Dead series is in my top 10 games of all time. Tales from the Borderlands is comedic genius, and their take on Batman is both brilliant and different, but still with that Batman feel. Now that they have their hands on another big superhero franchise, I had complete faith that they will put love and passion into something with so much potential. The game starts off with the Nova Corps in need of help from the Guardians. They contact Star-Lord, informing him that they are under attack by Thanos on an abandoned Kree outpost. When the Corps engaged him, he annihilated their whole fleet. So now they need the help of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Here's where we get introduced to each member of our team. The leader, Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, the assassin and estranged daughter of Thanos, Gamora, Rocket, the #1 smart-mouth rodent who loves explosions and can fix anything, everyone's favorite character, Groot. The only member who can communicate for him is Rocket. The only thing this large, lovable tree says is, "I am Groot." And for some reason, Rocket is the only one who understands him.
I am Groot.
Oh, Groot says thanks.
And last but certainly not least is Drax the Destroyer, a man filled with rage towards Thanos for the death of his wife and daughter. Honestly, a great cast of characters with great chemistry, at least in the movies. As you finally make your way to the Kree planet, you confront Thanos, one of, if not the most powerful being in the universe. Thanos gets his hands on a mysterious green artifact called the Energy Forge, which you later on find out that it can bring back anyone from the dead. The last person you want to have this is Thanos, even though you have no idea what it is yet. You're just there because the Nova Corps asked you to be. Once you start your battle with Thanos is when the game starts to get good. Honestly, probably the best parts of each episodes are these big, fun action scenes. You mainly play as Star-Lord throughout the game, but in these big action segments, you get to control each individual Guardian, even if it is for a brief moment. Putting you in control of each member of your team makes these scenes that much more special. The best part about the Guardians of the Galaxy in general are when they work together as a team and the banter between them all as it happens.
Guys, it's done! It's ready! Then use it!
And that is actually the biggest highlight of the game. When the Nova Corps called up the Guardians and mentioned Thanos, I figured he would be the big baddie of the game.
The galaxy is mine.
Smile, you son of a...
How is this?
What? Holy crap, you kill him! So what happens now? Drinks! Turns out the big villain in this game is a Kree woman named Hala the Accuser. She is after the Eternity Forge to revive thousands of Kree she has preserved aboard her spacecraft, and most important to her dead son, Baldin. The Kree were a race that assumed to be all wiped out, but apparently that's not the case. This is actually a really good setup. Thanos is a really popular villain, so it made sense that we'd fight him through 5 episodes. But choosing a totally different path with the story is pretty awesome. Like I said earlier, I knew nothing about the Guardians of the Galaxy prior to the movie, so this may be ripped off from a comic and I wouldn't know. If it is, let me know. Yeah, the story has a great premise, but a good story is nothing without great characters and dialogue. Something Telltale is known for. Unfortunately, it's not so present here. Earlier I mentioned you play almost exclusively as Star-Lord. Chris Pratt portrayed the character in both films and in my opinion, did a great job. Telltale tried to emulate his personality and charm, but it just felt so flat. Anytime there was supposed to be a quote-unquote funny moment, it was cringy.
I can do this. I'm a grown-ass man.
You gotta be kidding me. What? You gotta be kidding me!
Excluding Rocket, all of the character models in this game suck. But Star-Lord's in particular is the worst. Anytime he makes an expression, it's stiff and uncomfortable to look at. His movements are the same. He's supposed to be a cool character, but I hated being him the entire time. I'm supposed to like the person I'm playing as, not dread it. It also doesn't help that 80% of the time the lighting is awful. Unfortunately, the bad outweigh the good by a lot.
Oh, crap.
All around, graphics are simply not up to par, especially the fact that we are 4 years into our current console generation. Graphics-wise, The Walking Dead: A New Frontier that released earlier this year had its A-team. The lighting, the places you explore, the character design, the character models, the backgrounds, it was all gorgeous. The D-team must have worked on Guardians of the Galaxy because this looks like a mid-generation PS3 game, at its best. On to the voice acting. For Star-Lord, it's clearly evident that the voice actor is trying too hard to be that too cool for school guy. But when it's serious, he delivers his lines great. And that's when the facial expressions are the best.
To be over. Why don't you trust me then? Let me share that burden with you. Carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders and not feeling like you're making it any better. I feel that too.
The voice acting by all other characters are pretty good though. The bests are Rocket, Drax, Groot, and Nebula. The worst are Star-Lord and Yondu. Oh my gosh, I swear Yondu is a discount Chris Rock.
Quills ain't no little babies. Now let's get. I don't want to be on this planet any longer than I have to. I've been buying black market trinkets off this little freak for years.
Through all 5 episodes, there was only one time where I laughed out loud.
I have communicated only through my feelings for years. It is nice to communicate with my mouth.
I expected funny moments, but they ended up just being utter cringe.
Yeah. Awkward.
The pacing episode by episode is decent at best. The first 2 episodes aren't all that fantastic, but the third and fourth are the best out of all 5. Normally the ending would be satisfying and would wrap up in a nice bow, but you don't feel hardly any threat from the main antagonist throughout playing, making this seem not that much of a big deal. Which is weird, seeing as the Eternity Forge literally brings back people from the dead. You will experience all the backstories of every Guardian, giving more insight to all your comrades and what they went through prior to teaming up with you. All of them try to be very touching, but don't follow through except for Drax's and Rocket's. Experiencing Rocket's backstory literally broke my heart.
You had no right to see that. Those are my memories.
It's not like I did it on purpose, okay? You can't blame me for this.
That doesn't make it okay.
I never said it did.
It didn't even work. How could it not work? You got to come back. She's the one who's still...
Decisions are the biggest part of Telltale Games. At the beginning of each episode, it even tells you that the game adapts to how you play. Your playthrough and my playthrough are more than likely quite different, which means we experience different parts due to our actions and choices. I love talking to other people about the decisions that they made. Oh, I didn't even see that because I chose this type of thing. That stuff is fun. But I felt no weight or consequence to any of the decisions I made along the way. There was no loss or gain in any decision. The most crushing decision was my decision to pick up this game. The graphics were poor, the environments were dull, some of the voice acting was good, but it was mostly bad. For the Guardians of the Galaxy's first video game outing, this is simply just not what they deserve. I give Guardians of the Galaxy, a Telltale series, a 4.5 out of 10. Now, recently it was announced that Telltale laid off about 90 employees. My heart goes out to all of the creators who lost their jobs. Telltale said the decision to lay off staff is designed to make the company more competitive as a developer and publisher of groundbreaking story-driven gaming experiences, with an emphasis on high quality in the years ahead. Our industry has shifted in tremendous ways over the past few years, Telltale Games CEO Pete Howley said in a statement. The realities of the environment we face moving forward demand we evolve as well, reorienting our organization with a focus on delivering fewer, better games with a smaller team. Even though I hate seeing these creative developers lose their jobs, I like the direction that this company is going towards, focusing on less projects and fixing the things that people have been criticizing for a while now. You don't have to be making 8 games at one time. Scaling back and putting more love into your most important projects is the best move, and I'm proud that they made that. So I'm hopefully to see what they release in the future, and it's likely you'll see a review of it here. So stick around, and as always, thanks for watching.